quejoso. Un poco de té. ¡Naster! Buenas noches, Naster. ¿Cómo estás? ¡Gato! Espérame, te me pasa aquí. Ahora sí. Así poner la música mientras abro todo eso. Dinosaurios. Me acabo de acordar del michisaurio. Voy a abrir esta cosa, espérate. Esto. Sí. ¿Qué tal? ¿Todo bien? Sí, bueno. Es un día un poco cansado, pero estuvo bien, estuvo bien. Me ordené un toque el horario para hacer directo. Hasta ahora debería estar viendo el directo de Alex, pero dije que iba a estar aquí y pues eso. Buen horario. Sí, sí. Vamos a ver los resultados de cambiar el juego del lado de almacenamiento. Opa, y ya se siente la gas. Pantalla blanca, es que siempre le deja uno como un poco ciego, macho. Como para, no sé, o sea, apenas para iluminar la casa así de noche cuando se va la luz. ¿Y cómo ha estado tu día, no está? Vamos a dejar que cargue. Ay, se mueve fluido el saquito de orines. ¡Ah, muy bien! Ah, qué bueno que tuviste un día tranquilo. Ay, ahora cómo me lo ves. ¡Oh! Mira cómo se mueve eso. Ya se ve más fluido. Ahora sí yo para mí se pega. Pero ya está más fluido. Ufale, la fuente. Muy bien. Vamos a seguir la misión que teníamos pendiente por aquí. Aquí está. ¡No! Que tengo que transformar la resina. Espérate. ¡Ah! ¿En serio? ¡Oh! ¿Qué vas a editar? Espérate un instante, que hay prioridades. Prioridades. Cuénteme el chisme entero, no me deje a medio camino. Ay, no me jodas que tengo. Bueno, espérate. Al menos uno más. Ah, sí. ¡Oh! Muy bien. ¿Qué vas a hacer cuando los edites? ¿Vas a pasar por Instagram o por dónde?
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Lire has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
¡Hasta cola! Se da muy bien. Para guardarla en recuerdito, supongo. Ay, Dios mío, ¿cómo era? ¿Cómo era acá? Aquí. Espinato, Rosula. Rosula. Sape, sí. Oh my gosh.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening.
Ay, no puse esos anuncios. ¡No! No puse los chuchos de los Betsman. What? Oh, nigga. Espérate, espérate. Ah. Oh, Jesus. Creo que se lo tengo aquí en Streamlabs. Creo que lo puedo agregar en vivo y en directo, sí. Streamlabs. Ay, Dios mío. Que metía pata la mía, vaya. No, este es el directo de Fab para Mal. Streamlabs. Streamlabs, sí. You're right. No tiene nada, sí. El artbox. Ay, ¿cuál era? ¿Dónde se conseguía el código? Aquí está. Vamos a ver, y ahora tengo que meter esto por aquí. Navegador sería. Creo que es el que se le pone, ¿no? A la chincha. Sí. ¿Viste? Creo que ahora sí. Ahora sí. Ok, ya está. Voy a hacer la prueba por aquí. Ahí está. Ya se me encendió el cerebro. Wow. Ay, Dios mío, qué susto. Siempre con los 10 moneditas, ¿cómo no? Bueno, ya está, ya la arreglé. Qué sustote. ¿Qué tengo que ponerlo por ahí? Listo. Así. Ay, ya arreglé lo de todo. Puse de todo menos el chunche los bits, o sea que... Chunche los bits y los follow y las chunches de las alertas de Streamlabs, o sea... Todo en una ventanita con un mismo link. Entonces, y se fue todo ahí. Pero bueno, ya. Ahora sí. Bueno, volviendo al juego. Sí, Paimon han ocurrido muchísimas cosas. Probando. Gracias, Master, por esos 5 bits. ¡Wow! Los primeros bits de Noster, así, bien documentados. Van a quedar súper documentados. Viste, Paimon ha ocurrido tantas cosas. Noster es el primer donador de bits. ¡Wow! Esos bits pesan en Bitcoin. I know. El saldo de todo el año no esté. Se botó todo el año aquí. Ay, no, qué buena. Por ser el primer donador te voy a dar un personaje. ¿Cuál personaje quieres ser? De los que tengo. Y te pongo a jugar ahí en las chunchas y todo. Ya no te puedo poner en el Jutao. Tengo a Jutao. Entonces, no, Jutao va a ser Noster. Espérate, ahorita la pongo en el equipo. Le pongo todas las chunchas y le pongo en el equipo. Esas reuniones me han dado hambre. Yo siempre. Me salgo a comer y todavía tengo hambre, guacho. Ay, no. No sé cómo es que no quedo como gordísima. Súper emocionado, ¿no crees? ¿Cuál súper emocionado? Bueno, Mona tal vez. No, pero todos eran un montón de introvertidos en la última reunión. ¿Qué me estás diciendo? Bueno, eran introvertidos, solo que se dejan a las caras ya era mucha emoción de parte de ellos. La verdad es que tiene razón.
Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised.
Sí, es que son los niños de la hoguera que trabajan para los Fatui. Han estado en todas partes. ¿Tú qué quieres? Yo creo que el más sorprendido ahí era Nivelet con que le dijeran jefe. O sea, era como, wow, esta mujer me dijo jefe. Oh, sí. Ay, Clorinde.
Well...
¿Sí? Pues, ¿qué?
It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great.
¿Qué vamos a conseguir, Paimon? Podemos conseguir demasiadas cosas. Legales e ilegales. Tú sabes, Paimon. Tú sabes ya muchas cosas. Demasiadas cosas, Paimon.
After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you?
¿Cómo se han de haber sentido esos tipos? Sí. No, porque... Bueno, sí. Digamos que es una situación, están todos reunidos ahí, pero una situación como en Meropi, digamos, en la prisión, hubieran estado en bandos totalmente opuestos a los mandos directivos. Pero estaban los Fatui literalmente sentados en la mesa en medio y todos hablando y cooperando. ¡Ay, qué linda, Paimon! Yo también solo confío en ti en este juego. Niveles dijo que estaba preparando un plan de contingencia, pero yo no le creo, ¿sabes? Yo creo que se va a ir ese plan de contingencia se va a ir en puras burocracias. No sé. Todos parecían demasiado relajados.
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all.
No, ¿qué va? No, Paimon.
Then what's that?
Oh, la verga, eso estaba ahí.
Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Paimon, aquí le estás tontas nuevas. Bueno, yo tampoco he visto esa taza. La primera vez que la veo, güey.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
La mierda, la taza, ¿verdad? Una taza que viene a tomar té con nosotras. Oh, no. Espérate. ¿Es una taza que toma té? ¿Qué diablos?
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Paimon, los fantasmas no existen. Es una taza parlanchina.
Ah, have you forgotten me already?
Yo no. Yo tampoco, güey.
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
¿Qué pedo? Yo no me acuerdo de eso. Paimon, usted debe estar comiendo dátiles fermentados.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong.
Entonces era una taza embrujada que andaba allá por Sumeru. Oh my god. Ahora sí ya lo he visto todo.
You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all.
Ok, es una... Pues obviamente son aficiones de tazas embrujadas y tal, así como la lámpara de Aladino.
Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
Ok, entonces es amiga de la maestra de Mona, que yo me acuerdo de la maestra Mona, creo que está en el aquelarre de las brujas. Entonces... caray.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
Pues nada, amigos, hacer barcos. En vez de casas, barcos. Esa mamá se viene ya.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
No, Paimon, no podemos detenerla. Tenemos que adaptarnos. Si viene el agüita, vienen barcos también.
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
Según el Irminsul, sí. Oye, sí. Tú ni te acuerdas porque eres de Teyvat.
Ah, so you've caught on.
No, no lo entiendo, güey.
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
Claro que sí. Después de todo, el destino no es tan, ¿cómo se llama? Inevitable. No es tan absoluto. Siempre están las pequeñas variantes.
Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
Perdón. Tecito. Estoy tomando té, pero no es la taza que estaba en la mesa esa. No, no es la taza embrujada. Aquí estamos conversando con la taza y tomando té aparte. Probablemente porque los dioses lo ven desde un costado y uno lo ve desde el otro.
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
Simon, no debes mirar las cosas con emociones como esas, ¿sabes? Es mejor mirar las cosas objetivamente, hacer cálculos a través de eso que decir que algo es muy aterrador y tal, porque si dices que algo es muy aterrador, entonces probablemente que es un poco enceguecido y no notes que hay otras maneras de hacer las cosas.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change.
Relativamente sí.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Oiga, señora, ¿usted sabe? ¿Se acabó el té? Iba a decir que esta señora suena como un adivino de esos genéricos, pero se acaba de acabar el té. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué carajos? La taza se acaba de ver sola a sí misma. Yo no fui, ¿eh?
This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
Yo ya me di cuenta.
The voice. It's gone.
Simon, ¿cómo sabes que la voz se fue? No sé, güey. Estaba ahí, estaba acostado. ¿Dónde? Fue como adiós. Con un eco de ida. Bruja N. Ah, si era una bruja la que larre, ¿qué carajos? Dice N. No me acuerdo.
Paimon hears someone talking.
Paimon, ¿qué te pasa? Ah, no, Paimon ya se comió algo muerto.
Alright, coming. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Estas palabras están discutiendo adentro y se escucha para afuera. Ok.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Sí, se escucha todo para afuera. ¡Mona! ¿Qué haces estos días, Mona?
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected.
Qué bueno que no fue aburrido.
Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
No se puede esperar menos de la nación del agua. El agua se adapta.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Seguro que sí. Siempre es muy positiva ella.
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
Muy bien dicho, ¿eh?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
¿En serio? ¿Y la lámpara Aladino que se vino a sentar en el asiento?
Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
Paimon, hemos sido ya por ¿cuántas naciones? Liyue, Inazuma, Mondstadt y Sumero. Y me estás diciendo que apoyas esa emoción de que los dioses son omnipotentes. O sea, Paimon, en serio. Bueno, no la apoya, pero, o sea, definitivamente ella también lo considera así.
The old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost.
La bruja N. N con 3 puntos. Los 3 puntos son parte del nombre. No comprendo por qué a Paimon le extraña que alguien no vea a los dioses como seres omnipotentes.
But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Le creo, le creo.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group.
Sí, dan mucho miedo.
Really
Ya sí dan mucho miedo.
to live so long.
Dan muchísimo miedo, ¿ok? De unos arcondes y luego las brujas de la Quelare. Esas sí son el poder tras el telón. ¿Qué carajos con esas mujeres? Y entre ellas está Rotting. Bueno, nunca me acuerdo bien del nombre ya. Sakura.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Fue lo suficiente caprichosa como para venir a sentarse a tomar el té.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Pero tú nunca entiendes muy bien algunas cosas. Ah, pero otras sí, ¿ah? Cuando se habla de dinero y plata. Dinero y comida. Oh, sí, ahí vas. Muy bien, ¿eh?
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so...
Lo que prácticamente nos dijo es, haga lo que tiene que hacer desde una perspectiva diferente. Ya está. No se tenga... Sí, va a pasar y va a tener que hacer lo que va a tener que hacer, pero... lo que nos dijo es... Igual hágalo. Haga lo mejor que usted pueda.
Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now.
Mona. Esa es una pregunta bien cuántica, ¿eh? No te la puedo responder. Yo interpreto como no se estrese, nada más dele. Todo va a estar bien.
Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
Ay, pues no es el fin del mundo. Más está cayendo un poco de agua ahí en Sumero. Digo, Sumero no, Fontaine. Nada más va a ver que hubiera un poquito más.
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation too.
Pues yo tengo que estar haciendo un nivel de condición. Tengo mis sospechas que no. Que eso no va a salir bien.
I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful.
Qué profundo, ¿eh?
Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
Tiene razón. Tiene razón.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff. I need to get going.
Pero no, no la astrología del periódico, así que no. Muchísimas gracias, Mona. Fue maravilloso verte ahí.
I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did.
Después de tener que lidiar con Navia, es un alivio y es una maravilla estar contigo, en serio. Probablemente no sabes ni quién es Navia. Espero que nunca lo sepas.
I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Qué bueno, sí. Una vez me quitaste el piti, pero me encantó,
I'm moved by what Mona said, but also kinda sad too.
Ah, Paimon, tú eres un mar de emociones.
Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go.
Ni siquiera me la preguntas o sea, en el texto español me lo está preguntando. Pero en el cuestión de voz me está diciendo de una vez que vayamos a la verga, ¿sabes? ¡Qué mandona! Ve al kiosco, ¿dónde queda el kiosco? Ay, mamá. ¿Qué bien grasa, carajo? Un día voy a terminar con un yeso por esas mamadas. No me jodas. Sí, es afuera. Llega subiendo por los sucios gas de las placas. Bueno, tal vez están muy limpias. ¿Allá? ¿O allá? Allá. Me dice la dirección, pero no para dónde. Ay, Paimon.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper.
¿Qué pedo?
What's going on?
Espérate, ¿qué carajos está pasando?
Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy, but that does not mean that others cannot interact with it.
Ah, cuando nos arrestaron, sí es cierto. Por la super infracción aquella, claro que sí. Qué gran cosa, ¿no?
My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that.
Nada más cometa un crimen y a ver cómo entra.
Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker.
Muy bien, nos salaban por cometer un crimen y entrar a Miropi, genial. Oye, eso no está bien, oye.
Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her.
Así es, Paimon. Charlotte es una stalker.
She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead?
¿Te parece? Y no nos pagó ni miércoles.
Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so I won't forgive her this time.
Espera que lea esta vaina. Y ahora me dice que me devuelva. ¡Ay, cosita! Está dando vueltas.
We're here! Paimon's
Ay,
hungry.
la
Should we
sigue
go in and
atrás.
get something to eat?
No acabamos de estar en la hora del té. Híjole, esta mujer es peor que yo. Palmón se asusta y le da hambre. Casi lo confundo con Oficina New Villain.
Quick! Look! That's...
Qué variado es el diseño del... Ay, Paimon, ¿qué es? ¿Qué es? No es un hipopótamo en Tangara.
That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake!
¡Ah, la torta por la que nos metieron a la cárcel! ¡Sí es cierto!
It was so delicious the last time we tried it. Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. I'm sure it'll be great.
Dale, Paimon. Vamos a prisión otra vez.
One slice of cake, please. Someone showed up after all.
Ah, Paimon.
Wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
¿Viene ese nombre de Furino acaso?
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Neuvillette was right. You really can eat.
estaban a las espaldas de nosotros. Esto es culpa de Paimon.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
Exacto, porque no lo has visto, nada más.
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Ah, entonces vienes para a comprarlas para ti. Ah, muy bien, muy bien. Ya me estaba asustando cuando son cosas de Furina, siempre es algo.
Do you come here often?
Creo que sí, creo que le pagan a él.
Usually every day.
¿Ves? Claro que sí. I know, I know.
Every day?
Every day. ¿Qué rayos? No puse el chinche el chat. Ay, no, estima. Poner en inglés un rato. Ya está.
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
La dieta la melucina, literalmente.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
Paimon, hay otros lugares donde hay tarta y café, no es el único lugar.
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know, like in the prophecy.
Paimon, le estás metiendo miedo a la muchacha antes de que se ponga a comer tranquila, en serio. Ay, Paimon. Déjala comer primero. ¡Teletón! ¡Hola!
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't
Hola.
paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me
¿Cómo
from having
estás,
some today.
gordo? Es un gordo muy guapo, así que está ahí.
No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Ella sabe. Suden sabe.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go?
Oh, qué bien.
These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Seatrain?
Qué linda.
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please try the cakes here.
Qué linda. Es que son chiquititas. Digamos, es que ya son, bueno, como son monstruos y tienen una edad biológica diferente, pues esos son bebés, realmente ya son bebés. Por eso ya se están aprendiendo y les toca duro.
I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right?
¡Ay, qué cosita! ¡Hasta luego!
And there she goes.
Sí, Paimon, pero lo más importante, tienes tu pedazo de tarta, ¿eh?
All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious. It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could come again tomorrow.
Simón, vas a venir. No vas a venir mañana porque mañana va a estar todo mojado. Tal vez. Pero probablemente vengamos pasado mañana. Sí, tal vez. Es que el agua no se lleva los muebles. Puede pasar. Ah, ¿qué dice?
Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
Dale, Paimon. Ya tengo 100 del nuevo mapa explorando. Tengo 18 días para sacar las C2 de Burina con el 50-50. ¡Sí! ¡Vamos para ese 50-50! ¿100 qué? ¿100 deseos? ¿O 100 protogemas? Dime que sí. Ah, sí, 100 deseos, 100 deseos. Sí, sí, sí. Vamos, vamos. Ojalá que te saque el 4, macho. 100% mapa. ¡Ah, ya! Este man es una máquina de hacer deseos.
Settle down.
No hay clientes ahí, ¿verdad? Ay, ay, ay. Bueno, no pasa nada. Cero protos, 20, 0 deseos, 20 protos, PT 66. Hay tiempo, hay tiempo. Y hay misiones, hay cosas. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Te puedes, te puedes.
Melusines are
Yo
beautiful
tengo
creatures.
fe.
They are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to befriend them and cause them.
Digo que... Digo que... Digo que sí te sale. O sea, hay varios días, misiones diarias. Y la cosa esa, yo creo que en 10 deseos te sale o menos. Yo creo que sí. ¡Ay, yo no he tirado!
Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go
¿Tiro?
look for Charlotte and have a chat.
¿Tiro mis deseos? Tengo 20 deseos para eso. Uy, si no saco más en unos días. Sí. ¿Qué dices, Telton? ¿Me saco en una como tú? ¿O los tiro 20? Dale, me dice, dale. Y yo, ¡ah! Ahí voy, espérate. Espérate, espérate. Ay, de feria está en la cafetería. Ya tiene que salir aquí. ¿Uno a uno o me tiro 2 multis? Te decide. Ay, mamá, me estoy meando. Espérate. Como guste. Bueno, vamos a meter suspenso. Y entonces me voy a mear porque... Ay, Dios mío. Ay, no. Ay, no. Siempre me pasa cuando estoy jugando. Tal vez porque tengo la maña a tomarte cuando estoy jugando. Ya vengo, espérate. Es para que vaya a mear. Ándale. Ahora sí vamos con la ludopatía. Espérate. Se viene. Se viene, se viene. A ver. Ay, se me perdió la cosa esta. Aquí está. Aquí está. Ok, ¿qué vamos? Un deseo. Voy a tirarlos uno en uno a ver cómo dices tú. A ver si me sale. Aquí está también. Vamos, Furina, ven conmigo. Vamos, vamos. Oh, no quiere. El pastel, Furina. Ay, no, me cago en... Espérate. Que a mí esto de tirar uno no me sirve. Dios. Ahora sí lo sentí, ¿eh? Yo normalmente tiro multis, pero esto está fuerte. Oh, bueno, tengo otra de Yao Yao. Es excelente eso. Tengo una nueva de Yao Yao. Vamos, Farina. Una más y me tiro en la muerte. No, a tirarme la muerte. Ahora sí lo voy a hacer a mi estilo. Vamos, vamos. ¡Oh, no! Mira, de coley. ¿Otra vez de coley? ¡Dos de coley! ¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡Ey, espérate! No está mal, ¿eh? Nunca me han salido dos chinches de coley. Ajá. Me has lastimado, Furina. A mí me gustaría tenerla completa, porque ella es muy linda. 5. Voy a tirar 5 a mano, nada más para ver. Vamos a ver. Ven, vamos a tomar el té. ¡Rayos! No hay más. Yo creo que ya, ¿verdad? Ah, bueno, ahí tengo este. Sí. Ya está. La última. F, sí. Se siente raro escribir y no mandar el audio. Oye, sí es cierto, me estás escribiendo. ¡Wow! ¡Wow! Y este es el único weón, aparte de mi novia, que le escucho los audios. Literal. ¡Genial, Beidou! Pero ya la tengo, ¿sabías? Prioridades del mod. Sí, ¿verdad? Buena, Beidou. Bueno, ya salieron 4 estrellas, ya está.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Ay, que iba a sacar ajustada y me le voy a poner, espérate. Que no esté el primer, ¿qué era? Me falta una. Guaja. Híjole. También tenía de gato. Ay, yo no me he fijado. Seguro. Vamos, perrito. Arbolitos. Listo. Quieren ponerme ajustado en vez de Clee. Y ahora se va a llamar... No esté. Voy a poner los artefactos de ella. No me acuerdo cuáles eran. ¿Qué artefactos ya le tenía? ¿Los de Clean? No creo. No, porque ya está en vida. Voy a equiparla. Y los tenía puestos a otra persona. Este es ataque y este es en nuestro elemental, que también nos puede servir, pero no es el caso de él. Yo tenía un corazón en vida. Ay, mami. ¿Todo no es armado en vida? Yo que le había puesto ya ahora Vamos a ver cómo haces. Híjole, año que
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Bill.
Maestría. Ah, que entonces aquí sería ponerle maestría que tiene esta chica. Era este el que tenía ella entonces. Está. Aunque también la tenía en este set de bien luego chunchesaurios y con esta arma. Esta no. O sí. Oye, esa mata bastante. ¿Me sirve? Puedo ponerle esta de Jutao o ponerle el set de evento de Aureo, de la cuestión áurea, y ponerle esta arma a juego. Pero está a 60. ¿Quieren subirla? Voy a ponerle la de Jutao. Sí. O la dejo con la que tenía. Ay, no sé. Esta es la probabilidad crítico. Está. Pero no tiene nada de ataque. Oh, lord. Tiene de todo menos ataque. Oh. La del dragón y la de la arena también. Sí. ¿Qué tengo aquí yo? Porque tiene buenos daños de. ¿Alguna vida? Vida. Jutao golpea en base a la vida, ¿verdad? Ay, no me acuerdo. Vida. Entonces sí, vida. ¿Qué más tiene elemental? Bueno, bastante. Añadero, no. Ataque no. Dentro no. Ataque no. Este lo tengo para ese güey. Voy a ponerle este. O este. Este está más mejor. Creo que tenía otro por ahí, pero no sé. Vamos a ver cómo quedó. Hola, madre. Voy a ponerle maestría para suplir la probabilidad crítico que me va a faltar. No. Voy a dejarlo así, un ratito. Muy bien, y ahora vamos a poner en el equipo. Y la vamos a llamar Noster. Clay, ay, qué lera.
Oh, is it time for me to join you?
Yes. This is my girl.
We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Muchísimas gracias a Teletón, el mejor moderador del mundo
Have you seen the article I wrote about
de
you?
mi mundo mundial, que dando super consejos para armar personajes. Sí, señor. Sí, ahora páganos. Páganos. Aquí no.
You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick Mora!
Sí, bueno, juntaba hace bastante años. Es complicado de hacer, pero sí le da.
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though.
Rayos.
It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Muchas gracias.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
Sabe comprar a Paimon. Todos sabemos cómo se compra Paimon.
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Nah, Paimon, nah.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already bumped into Mona here in Fontaine.
Es que ya ahorita reviso cómo tienes a tu jotao.
So she met.
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Toda honrada.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary traveler and Paimon?
Espera, que sigo una idea. Sí. Yo me acuerdo cuando la tuve. Yo más que todo la tenía con vida, pero no tanto con maestría elemental, excepto una lanza. Un tiempo la tuve con la cosa esta de la bruja y después la pasé a la otra del... ¿Cómo se llama esta? Los ventosaurios, creo que era. Pero después se lo puse a almacén cuando me salió, así que pues eso.
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Ah, ay, qué bueno. Es un buen resumen. No es tan difícil. Y también pues bien acompañada, ¿verdad? Para poder hacer los números gordos. Pero no está bien eso. De hecho, con el set de Ventaurio y la lanza de Zaino, prácticamente se hace eso. Sí. ¿Qué cosa?
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and...
Whew,
so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Vamos, estáfame bien feliz.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
Para eso somos amigas.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily.
Bueno, New Zealand no creo que te deje estar ahí de primera mano, ¿sabes? Porque, bueno, es bien mortal y pues eso. Sí. Te mueres antes de que todo salga, no sé. No es buena idea.
From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than war. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person.
Bueno, si uno se muere haciendo lo que le gusta, la verdad es que está muy bien.
And do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as... I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. And I'd be... But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
Woohoo.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her.
Paimon, tú eres una persona de emociones muy pesada, ¿no? ¿No sientes admiración? ¿No te sientes inspirada? ¿Por qué es que sientes envidia?
Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh?
Ven, Paimon, podrías dejar de estar melancólica ya. No sé, acabamos de comer.
Paimon's been thinking.
Qué bueno, Paimon.
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do?
Pues nada, mudarnos de planeta, ya está.
No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do?
Paimon, se supone que el viajero vino de otro mundo. ¿Qué crees que va a hacer? Exacto.
We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
Paimon, hasta no te das cuenta que está con un viajero, que he viajado todo el rato y está viajando ahí también. Qué bueno que piensas, Paimon, sigue siéndolo. Mi pregunta es, ¿pasan los días tranquilos? O sea, pero no están diciendo nada de la chuncha de contingencia en caso de que se inunde todo, porque no sé. Todo está muy tranquilo. Qué gente tan despreocupada.
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough.
¿Opinas lo mismo? Vayamos a acampar afuera. Ya todo muy vintage. Sí. Pero creo que estar en la placa no está bien. No sé. Va y se inunda todo y lo primero que nos llega son las aguas negras, pero mejor vámonos.
But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Paimon, ¿te gusta más esta alcantarilla que Merope? Ahora empiezo a revalorar tus cosas, ¿sabes?
So the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Ese charco café ahí, ay no. ¿Qué es eso? Ahora empiezo a preguntarme de qué es el charco que está ahí. Detrás de nosotros. Es agua lluvia, ¿verdad? Sí. No es un charco de chocomilk ni nada por el estilo.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the fortress of Meropide. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him.
Lo sabía y ahora va a ser algo bien feo. Cuéntanos. Cuéntanos el chisme.
Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
What? Rebelión a pequeña escala. ¿Qué?
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally... Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her.
Oh, eso. Oh. Qué bueno que no sé nada al respecto. Sí, claro. Tremendo.
Loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
Ah, qué bien trabajan. Digo, no, qué triste.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are...
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet.
Bueno, entonces nos ocupamos de las cosas que hacen Nibilet mientras él la busca, o qué es la cosa. Yo no sé dónde encontrarla,
That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her?
Cierto.
Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation.
Buenas noches,
He
Teletón.
didn't say anything else.
Voy a descansar tranquilo, no pasa nada. Bye. Que descanses bien bonito.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat.
Bueno, voy a quitar esto por aquí.
And as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today.
Obviamente. Es una pequeña adolescente, por muy vieja que parezca.
Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling.
Oye, tú sí que cabilas delgadito a veces. Ya te están llegando los nutrientes de la comida, ¿eh?
Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. Cool, huh? In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come!
Ay, yo también me estoy cayendo en sueño hasta ahora. Vamos con Gato. Ah, que va a ver la composición de Teletán. Te voy a estar jugando. Mentiras. Mentiras. Bueno, eso es lo que menos me importa. Vamos a ver.
Silly churl, Billy churl.
Me encanta. 124. 224. Chataco no tiene mucho. Por lo mucho es 1000 y algo. Ok. 1120. Valoranchi. Valorant.
Toodaloo.
Esta es la de un amigo que me estaba enseñando cómo armarla porque la mía la tenía armada y se me olvidó cómo la tenía. Artefactos. Ay, pero es que esto le da los bonus. Estos bonus. A ver, yo también la tengo con eso, ¿no? Así era. Y la arma de ella. La Joma. Ok. Entonces vamos a ver con la mía. Vamos a ver.
1 client, 2 clients, 3
clients.
¿Ah?
70. 171. Pucha, estoy sola de maestría elemental ahí. En teoría está la balanza igual, prácticamente. Ay, atributo de la vida. 26.000. Ah, la cagué. A ver qué bastones tengo por aquí. Ok, daño físico no. Podría meterle este para balancear la ausencia. La poca vida que tiene. Este da vida. Pero esa no es la idea. Si le pongo esto va a pegar como si no hubiese mañana, ¿eh? Que me faltan 4000 de vida. Y yo tengo un exceso de... Es que no tengo estas en vida. Tenía una, pero no sé qué le hice. Ese está mejor que la que yo tengo ajustado. Oh, no, pero es que este es el reloj que tengo en No. Tengo materiales para subir eso. ¿Qué tiene porcentaje aquí?
Clients.
Thanks. Thanks. Wow. Vegeta. Vale un Vegeta ahí. Vegeta 7777.
Wanna come over for tea?
La guapísimos. No, la dejo así. Vamos a ver cómo me pega. Le va a faltar un poquito fuerza, pero... Vamos, Noster. Uy, se me pega mal. Ándale. Son unos fragmentos. Vámonos. Hola.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
¿Ves, Palme? Yo te dije que les pusiéramos un GPS, mentira. Mentira, no. ¿Qué lugar te gustaba, Corina? ¡Wow, pescadote! ¡Qué rico!
With the wind.
Ay, mami. With the wind. Paimon, le pegaste a la lotería, ¿eh?
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out.
Una cosita.
I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Cazas barco, yo digo que cazas barco. Sí. Yo que si le metes unos barquitos ahí nomás, yo creo que sí sería útil, ¿eh?
Who's that?
Otro gato.
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
Me delataste, me delataste. Yo estaba haciendo mi papel de gato y me delataste. Traidora, traidora. La traición.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Es que te aguantas llorar y me estás hablando pendejadas.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts! They even dare to tout their archon! I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found.
Pero hay una cosita que se llama terapia. Si te sientes muy frustrada, nada más te sientes ahí a, no sé, a hablar con alguien, tal vez.
Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marsh Dose Phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Definitivamente sí, están seguros que echan, no sé. El gendarmería no, pero Violet sí.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Está chiquita.
Quick, after her!
A larga. Yo digo que nos echemos un nigrón de allá.
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
Yo la empujaba al agua para que se escapara, o sea, está pendeja.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off.
¿Ves, Paimon? Yo te dije que trajéramos una correa.
Quick, we have to catch up with her.
No, no es cierto. Definitivamente hay que poner unas correas que son para chiquitos. Así que en vez de la llevamos de la correa atrás, así que en vez de estar huyendo, va a parecer que la estamos paseando.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Un cuchitril, eso es lo que es, pero vente para acá.
Hurry, they're almost here.
¿Cuándo se vieron tan rápido?
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Paimon's exhausted.
Ay, Paimon, flotaste muy rápido.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer
enthusiasm they displayed. You're right.
Vamos, Pine, número 2. Tú puedes, tú puedes.
Yep, that.
Uh-oh.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Sí, otra vez está subiendo el agua.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding and...
It can't be. It's happening again.
Yeah, that's happening. Estamos en esa, amiga. Estamos en la caquita en ese momento.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
No sé, yo tampoco confío en Nibilet. O sea, todo está muy tranquilo y no estoy escuchando ninguna noticia de que la gente se mueve rápidamente el lugar si todo empieza a inundarse, ¿sabes? Tengo mis dudas, Paimon. Tengo mis dudas.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing.
Ay, cosita.
But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost fate. Is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has owned it just now. It all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Entonces te la volvió bipolar, yo sé.
Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Porque es esquizofrenia nada más. Paquita esquizofrenia.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes? In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case...
No va a decir ni mergas. ¡Oh! Qué loco esta cosa. Qué buen truco, carajo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Off. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Vamos, Clorinda.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Esos botones me descontrolaron, sí.
I can't believe it.
Clorinda.
She just surrendered.
What the heck
No,
is going
Clorinda.
on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Que no quiere ver boing boing.
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
Ah, pero yo quería ver las tetas de Clorinda rebotarse.
I will protect you.
¿Me quiere pedir un poquito?
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Fosalor, will now begin!
Woohoo!
Hay que ver Bodierra.
Oh, now we're making history.
Sí, como ese señor.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Vega.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
Ya no hay...
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
Eso es totalmente película. O sea, demasiado guión, demasiado oportuno que ella fuera a Poisson a sentirse culpable cuando ella también pudo ir a otra parte donde ella se sintiera más acogida, en vez de ir a un lugar donde se siente absolutamente culpable. Definitivamente eso es película, digo, teatro, sí. Fue totalmente suerte que llegara a Poisson a esperar. Demasiado oportuno. Bueno, sigamos.
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Araneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
Hi.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Cierto.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. All so that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Es que ella es bien verga, sí.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine.
Cosita.
It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too!
Obviamente
Hey,
tiene que
Charlotte!
estar ahí.
Oh, Leb Hymancy! Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine!
Se supone que la mejor parte me estoy
So in other
viviendo.
words,
No.
we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument! Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Lightning.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Naripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
¿Por qué esa estúpida estaba ahí? O sea, en fin.
The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
¿Cómo mierda sabes eso ya? Bueno, qué bueno que ninguno de ellos me escuche diciendo palabrotas, porque no recuerdo haberle dicho nada.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Pero tal vez sabes como
Come
una.
on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses.
as the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine,
A ver, enséñame la gnosis. ¿Dónde está?
true Archon.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está la gnosis?
Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory.
No.
See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Ay, qué miércoles. Voy, espérate. Ay, lo peor es que tiene cola para majarle, no. Qué triste, ¿verdad?
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
Podría ser un
And if I
adeptus.
was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Podría ser hasta un muñeco, ¿sabes? Bueno, este es este ejemplo. Ya que la edad de ella no se puede refutar el hecho que no sabe manejar la, ¿cómo se llama? La analizadora.
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence to build our case.
Bueno. Cierto. Probablemente Ricky no sabe más cosas al respecto. Vamos a llamar a la defensa.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Que sea humana no quiere decir que no sea arconde, porque mientras pueda manejar una gnosis puede ser un arconde. La verdad es que no tiene la gnosis. La cuestión es comprar que no la tiene. Pero bueno, sigamos. Ya habló de la analizadora que no sabe manejar, que se supone que ella inventó. Bueno. Ay, caramba.
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice in the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
Se preocupa por ella, qué linda.
You'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
Ven ahí.
She's still throwing out all
Raiden
kinds of
a sus hijos, es un desmadre.
Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Además, si fuera una persona más culta, nos estaríamos hasta la verga porque citaría a Raiden según con sus maquinitas del mal. I know.
my power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Siempre tan colaborativo. Ay, qué linda la nutria, siempre tan eficiente. Bueno, no siempre.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Ay, verga.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Nice.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Demasiado.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
Ay, miércoles no hay que ir. Verga. Se puede hacer una forma, pero... Las heridas. Ya es una mano de Fontaine, que es su mano del que me primigenio. Si ya su mano se retira con el agua primigenio.
That doesn't sound...
Shit. Ay, qué mal momento. Estoy mimiendo. ¿Qué fue lo que dijo ella?
That doesn't sound...
No sé. Sé cómo va. Vamos a ir a la...
doesn't sound...
I am with you, Paimon. Estudiando la miércoles.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably a Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Ay, Dios mío, ¿me va a meter a la pana en serio?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Está preocupado. Yo también estoy preocupada, ¿eh?
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
Verga. Y estoy salgando. Y estoy salgando, en serio. Ni siquiera ya sabes si te Fontaine o no.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really?
No, uno normal no se derrite. Eso es lo que pasa.
Miss Siegwin, if you are present, Miss Siegwin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegwin?
Oh.
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegwin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegwin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Que viste fueron puestos estas pequeñitas, que ya están adolescentes.
I really am your Archon.
No, lo sentimos, ya, eso ya terminó ahí.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Simon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Está decepcionado.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty.
Se siente como la situación de una gira en cierta forma. Que si ella está en la profecía es porque es la arconde, pero...
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Ay, ¿qué toque así yo?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct, then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things, so she told us the truth. Things escalate this quickly.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Está fuera asustadísimo, fuera asustadísimo. ¿Para qué no se lo cree?
Mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
¿Cierto? No dice Farina, dice el arconde era.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Así que está indirectamente relacionado con el arconde hidro. Una estafa. Y supongo que un muñeco, algo así.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Is that the first prophecy slate?
¿Sabes qué falta?
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the...
¿Qué placotas eran enormes?
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
Oh, qué grandota. Por lo que vi, estaba creando un humano. O una persona. Está usando su poder divino y está creando un ser viviente. ¿Por qué es el segundo?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
La que estaba antes.
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates.
Vamos atrás. Ahí está, no hay nada. Ok, vamos a ver.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that.
Pero eso...
If Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
Ok. Hipótesis totalmente real de la que ya tenía, que me lo saqué de las nalgas.
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with the third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
¿Quién era?
Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and they didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen.
We know from the case and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Sí, definitivamente nos castiga.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
That doesn't sound...
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and... The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was... Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. The eruption of the primordial sea... The prophecy's contents can all...
Qué momento para estar extrañado. Bueno, ya. Dicho ya está claro un montón de cosas.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it! But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truth.
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny.
We're not real humans.
Yeah,
all Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids.
That's right.
Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
Es que se supone
That
que...
could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin
was
was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Que sí que estás bien sorprendido, ¿eh?
The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Estabas tan asustado que casi te cagas, weón. Casi se caga, sí. Ok, creo que lo dije muy fuerte. Está tan asustado que casi se le sale el desayuno. Sí, eso mismo. Sí. ¿Por qué?
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Entonces sería ella hundiéndose en el agua y siendo juzgada por su pueblo.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Apriete esas nalgas porque estamos contra el tiempo. Otra vez le está sacando agua a las piedras, carajo.
Well, did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of Old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Oh.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Sí, que para ellos debe ser muy duro, muy
That's the
duro.
truth. We can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Yeah.
But it does answer a lot of our questions.
De hecho es un vacilón porque hay una cuestión que se supone que las almas humanas vienen de las almas de los elementales que primero pasaron a ser minerales, vegetales y luego animales. Es una cosa toda loca, nadie se la cree. Algo así es lo que ellos están haciendo ahí. Lo que pasa es que ella lo hizo contra la cuestión de la naturaleza y lo hizo muy artificial, entonces cometió un pecado muy grande porque de hecho fueron cuerpos defectuosos que se disolvían con prácticamente con lo que fueron hechos. Obviamente eso es terrible.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea.
Diciendo que el arconde le dio depresión y se puso a nadar en el agua por mucho tiempo. No sé. Están haciendo una parte ahí.
The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate.
Okay.
Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Mira, se me ocurrió en este momento porque sé que me muero en sueño. Tal vez nunca se me ocurrió, ¿verdad? No. Ni pista esa.
Yes, It refers to our present situation.
I think I'm
Pero
following
creo
now.
que esa es la cuarta imagen.
So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
Huh.
No
matter
controla
what,
todo.
the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your... About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
La ballena. La ballena. ¿Y otra vez?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
¿Por qué estás riendo, güey? Ah. Para nada estás riendo, güey. Este güey lo sabe. La ballena ahí está.
It was both dream.
Es un monstruo lo que está ahí.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause.
Ay, mami. ¿Nani? Pegó gatillada. Como cuando llamas al rey de Roma y se asoma, o sea... ¿Qué carajo de ahí? Lo reventó como si fuera una hojita de papel. Que este miércoles se pegó tanto, es que era una...
That was way too close. How did that thing just burst into the opera house?
No era una cinemática en sí, sino un renderizado. ¿Qué carajos? ¿Qué carajos fue eso tan oportuno? Sí,
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels.
Oh.
And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist.
Woof.
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
No, yo nada más quería comer Minoplis. Ya está.
Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway,
Sí, eso fue muy extraño porque él nos quería culiar, y aquí estaba peleando con el bicho. ¿Qué pasó ahí?
All we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late.
Yeah.
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself.
Oof.
Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end.
No matter
what. So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy.
La profecía sí, pero no incluía, la profecía no incluía una ballena.
Things as the history of the future.
La profecía no incluía una ballena, ¿ok? Eso ya está totalmente fuera del asunto. Así que vayan a chingarse la ballena. De alguna manera.
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as...
Ay, ya. Hay que saber el secreto original. We need that.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Oh. Bueno, según el plan, si ella muere, el que tiene todo el poder es Müller, porque él es el dragón primordial, y entonces ya tendría suficiente poder para enfrentar todo el problema, como lo mencionó adelante. Y voy a poner mi último esfuerzo en tratar de terminar esta misión. Sí. Wow. Furina.
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
Es enanita.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving
Celeste.
The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydra Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she?
Yep.
Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Estabas en la mente de Furina. Vamos a ver cómo se siente. Debe sentirse bastante mal. Es una situación difícil. Vamos, Kegner. Tú que eres especialista en atravesar el mundo en lo plano, en lo físico.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Un muro defensivo bastante alto, sí.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Higher, hands on fire!
Settle down!
Vale.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
are here.
Silence!
Ay, tengo que meterme al cinturón. Un conjunto Yelan con...
Justice is blindsided.
Everyone hold hands.
De hecho, como está, se estaba haciendo completamente. Altonados. Ya nadie lo está mirando. Vamos a ver si ya bajó el muro defensivo. Oh. Somos Furina.
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me? What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
So there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other. Is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial? Huh. How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
Wow. Rayos. Ahora sí, yo creo que ya... Ya la maté. Le tiré una moneda para ver si le echo un poquito más de fuerza de voluntad. Así ya corto aquí y no termino, no sé, en amargada. Mañana en la noche. Cara, ¿sigo? Y cruz. Lo termino mañana en la noche. Oh, se termina mañana. Wow, sería cruz. Bueno, chiquillos. Adiós. Hasta mañana. Te le ganaste. Ahora sí voy a descansar que ella. Si no. Hasta la próxima. Si estaban así, llevo en todo mi sitio. Y yo, hoy no. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarme aquí en esta aventura de esta misión que en tiempo real también me tardaría bastante. Porque es una misión muy bonita que no la pondría a acelerar ni nada, sino que estaría tratando de disfrutar lo más que puedo. Entonces sí, me tardé todo este tiempo haciendo esta misión. Larga todo el contenido, ¿hasta dónde? No me digas que esto es como no. qué? ¿A qué? ¿Qué? Ay, me asusté. Ay, no quise. No. No. Voy a apagarle ya. Adiós. Adiós, 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 adiós. Prison. Ahora sí, ya me voy. Ahora sí. Buenas noches.